New Zealand Rugby have confirmed they will keep an open mind as they begin the search for a new All Blacks head coach following the departure of Scott Robertson, a decision that has sent shockwaves through the global rugby landscape. Chairman David Kirk addressed the media shortly after the announcement, outlining the reasoning behind the call and stressing the significance of the moment New Zealand Rugby now finds itself in. The decision to part ways with Robertson came after an extensive and wide-ranging review of the 2025 international season, a process that is standard practice for New Zealand Rugby, but which, on this occasion, carried far more weight. While Robertson's overall record of 20 wins from 27 tests appears strong on paper, the review concluded that performances and progress were not aligned with the long-term objectives of the organization, particularly with the 2027 Rugby World Cup in Australia looming. Robertson was appointed following the 2023 Rugby World Cup on a wave of expectation and goodwill. His record with the Crusaders, 8 Super Rugby titles, and a dynasty that redefined domestic dominance, made him the overwhelming favorite to succeed Ian Foster. Many believed his energy, innovation, and proven ability to build winning environments would translate seamlessly to the international stage. However, Test rugby proved a different challenge. While the All Blacks remained competitive under Robertson, New Zealand Rugby's review found that consistency against top-tier opposition, tactical cohesion, and the team's ability to close out high-pressure matches were not progressing as required. The All Blacks failed to win the Rugby Championship in consecutive seasons and endured an underwhelming Grand Slam tour of the Northern Hemisphere, factors that weighed heavily in the final verdict. David Kirk, the 1987 Rugby World Cup winning captain, made it clear that the decision was not taken lightly. Speaking candidly, he described the current phase of the World Cup cycle as a crucial mid-period, with 2 years gone and just 2 remaining before the next global showpiece. Everyone will be aware that we're at that crucial mid-period in the 4-year World Cup cycle, Kirk said. 2 years in and 2 years to go. The board, management, and high-performance team undertook a very comprehensive review of where the All Blacks are at this point, particularly looking at the 2025 season. That review process, conducted over the final weeks of last year and the opening weeks of the new one, involved extensive analysis by the high-performance department before being presented to the NZ Rugby board. Discussions followed, culminating in the conclusion that the All Blacks were not on the trajectory required to compete at the highest level in 2026 and beyond. The view of the high-performance team, and of us generally, was that the All Blacks are not on track in the way that we need them to be on track for the 2027 World Cup, Kirk explained. And indeed for what will be a very demanding year in 2026, with 4 matches against South Africa and rugby's greatest rivalry. After those conclusions were reached, discussions were held directly with Robertson. Kirk confirmed that while the process was firm, it was also respectful, and that the eventual outcome was a mutual agreement that change was required. We entered into discussions with the head coach, Kirk said. Following those discussions, we weren't convinced the team was going to be back on track without changes. We had further conversations, and we've mutually agreed that he would step down from his post. Importantly, Kirk clarified that Robertson is the only member of the All Blacks coaching structure to depart at this stage. The incoming head coach will have the autonomy either to work with the existing assistant coaches or to assemble an entirely new backroom team, depending on their vision for the side. Attention now turns immediately to who will succeed Robertson, and while speculation has been rife, Kirk was adamant that no shortlist has been finalized. Instead, New Zealand Rugby intend to conduct a global search for the best possible candidate. No one in mind, Kirk said when asked directly about potential successors. It's completely open. We're going to cast the net wide. We're going to get as many people as we can. He added that New Zealand Rugby view the All Blacks role as the pinnacle of the coaching profession and expect strong interest from both domestic and international candidates. We think that coaching the All Blacks is the greatest rugby coaching role in the world, he said. We are very hopeful we'll see plenty of highly qualified candidates. Despite that openness, certain names have already emerged in public discourse. Highlanders head coach Jamie Joseph is widely regarded as a leading contender, having previously expressed interest in the role and applied after both Steve Hansen and Ian Foster departed. Joseph's international pedigree with Japan, combined with his Super Rugby success, makes him an attractive option in the eyes of many supporters and pundits. Other experienced figures such as Vern Cotter, Dave Rennie, Joe Schmidt, and even former All Blacks coach Ian Foster have been mentioned in New Zealand media. Outside the traditional pathways, Bristol Bears head coach Pat Lam has also been suggested as a potential candidate, with some believing his player-led philosophy aligns closely with traditional All Blacks values. While speculation intensifies, Kirk took time to pay tribute to Robertson and his long-standing contribution to New Zealand Rugby. He emphasized that the decision was not a reflection of Robertson's character or commitment, but rather a professional judgment made in the best interests of the national side. "I really have a great deal of respect for Scott Robertson," Kirk said. "He has stepped down on the basis of what he believes, and we believe is in the best interests of New Zealand Rugby and the team." That's very typical of Scott. Kirk also highlighted Robertson's broader legacy, both as a player and a coach, noting his influence on the Crusaders, New Zealand under-20s, and the All Black setup over many years. "He's an All Black. He's contributed enormously as a player and as a coach," Kirk added, particularly through his success with the Crusaders, but also with New Zealand U20s and in many other ways. "We thank him publicly for that and wish him all the best." As New Zealand Rugby now moves into one of the most consequential coaching appointments in its history, the message from the board is clear. Nothing is off the table. The stakes are enormous, and the future direction of the All Blacks will be decided with 2027 firmly in mind.